I was curious, how do you think you guys played Saturday as an offense?
As an offense, we played pretty good. Didn't make all the plays that we were supposed to make. Definitely me, but we played pretty good. We played good enough to win.
What about the down the stretch of the game? You guys made some pretty big plays in the fourth quarter. What does it say about this group that you guys could gut out a win like that?
That means that we're mentally strong. It's one of our pillars being mentally, physically tough, and we rely on that a lot. Especially in the fourth quarter, Coach Taylor stresses a lot that we got to get going and keep the energy up.
Okay, Greg.
Leroy, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You guys are kind of entering a short week of preparation here against a new opponent. How is this week going to be different from normal, or how has it been different so far?
Really, it's not that much different. We just moved everything up a day. So instead of having Mondays off like we normally would, we just practice today. But our focus and our combination is pretty much still the same because we knew we would play on Friday anyway.
So what is the impact of having the opponent change basically on a week's notice? How does that affect you guys?
Honestly, very minimal. It probably affects the coaches a little bit more than us, but for the players, we still do the exact same thing. We show up ready to work and grind it out the same way we would for any opponent. It's more about us than them.
Memphis they still are the defending champion of their conference. They're a ranked team, probably statistically the toughest team you guys would have faced. Is that a test you were looking forward to, or what does it mean to lose that game off the schedule now?
Yeah, it's just another opportunity that we would have gotten to show against a tough opponent. But we have the same thing in this week. Middle Tennessee is a pretty good team, and we'll have a lot of fun with them too.
How did you feel like you guys played along the line of scrimmage on Saturday? I know that was something that against Texas State, Coach was saying you did really well in the first half at least. How did you feel you guys controlled the line of scrimmage overall against Stephen F. Austin?
Early on, it was rough. It took a pretty long time for us to get going. But much like we were preaching all week, the middle eight, we scored right before halftime. We put it 17-0. And then we ended the game in our low zone package, we like to call it, behind Lowell. And that was a good thing for us to hold the ball for 6 minutes in the game.
How do you feel about your guys' efforts to establish the downfield passing game so far? How do you evaluate how you've done in that regard?
After the first week, we knew that we would open up and let Frank open up a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. And it's one of our pillars on offense that we're going to cut it loose and have a little fun while we're out there. And we've got to make the plays when they're there, especially me. And we've done a pretty good job at it, but we need to do a little bit better.
I want to ask about a few of your teammates, some guys who have stood out so far. Joshua Cephas has been a big impact player at receiver. What have you seen from him to this point?
First thing that comes to mind is maturity. Cephas, he had a good year last year, but he wasn't the player that he is right now, and that just goes to show the work that he put in the offseason. He's done a great job being a leader for this team, whether it's vocal or leading by example, and he's made the plays when it comes to him.
He seems to have put a big emphasis on blocking. How much is that a talking point with, not just the receivers group, but also the tight ends group as well, those guys who are out on the perimeter?
It's talked about every day, all day, 1 through 11. We've seen Frank do a blocking there once in a while, but it's a heavy focus for us that everybody is trained and play together and play for each other.
Brendan Dingle's also played a pretty big role in your offense coming in here. What have you seen from him, or how has he added to your group?
He's added tremendously. He's added a leadership quality. He's also in the single digits, so it goes to show that the team respects him. I voted for him personally, and he gives us a nice threat, speed to stretch the defense and attack him down the middle of the field. He's a very physical player as well.
It's an interesting thing to see a guy come in and then immediately be one of those single-digit guys and immediately be viewed as a leader. How did he kind of earn that role so quickly? What did he show your group?
He showed that he was a dominant receiver and he would make plays when they came to him. And more than that, he showed that he would work hard every day. Rather than practices that was blocking on the perimeter 20 yards down the field or making a very high contested catch 7-on-7. He showed us that he would work for the team and he was very built into the program.
Has he taken kind of a vocal leadership role as well? Is that something that's been a part of his impact?
Absolutely. Between him and Sticks, they dominate that receiver room and they vocally lead his team to where it needs to be.
The other guy, this is actually a defensive guy who stood out so far, is Tariq Woolen. I'm curious, somebody who played with him offensively last year, what's it been like to see him switch to the other side of the ball and have a big impact over there?
First off, Tariq is a freak. He's probably the fastest guy on our team, and he's a very long guy. He's probably a little bit taller than me, but just as long, and he can go all day. It's amazing seeing him play and thrive in a position that really suits him.
It's been interesting to see some of the big hits that he's handed out in the first couple of games here. Did you know he had that level of physicality?
Oh, absolutely. It just takes the right opportunity and the right look to put you in that best position to shine. Coach Stray was really good at putting players in position to suit them the best.
Got it. Thank you, Leroy.